Hello folks, hope you're doing well. Yeah, okay, I'm going to do the one on talents now. What I do need to explain first of all, I need to make this perfectly clear. I absolutely hate doing videos that are negative. I hate doing videos that are talking about issues with the church and talking about what people aren't doing. I would much rather do videos talking, well, for example, when I spoke about last Sunday and the parents of that young lady, Abigail, about what our father spoke about and the fact that what he said was similar to what I'd said the night before, and I spoke about her mother who was playing the flute during the worship, but she wasn't up there with the worship. She wasn't saying look at me, she was playing it in the background. And I'd rather do videos talking about stuff like that because I get joy out of speaking about things like that. When I do videos speaking about when I do the one saying that I truly believe in 5 years we can be of his nature, again, I have joy speaking about that. When I'm speaking about what we're not doing, what we should be doing but what we're not doing, the fact of the matter is I've been speaking about these things with God for the past 20 years. And I did the video last night, Yeshua is not coming back for a prostitute bride. That was a quote from Rick Godwin in 1997. 2000? No, it wasn't. It was before then. Brain work. That was him. And the fact he would have been speaking about examples that he had seen during his Christian walk of years before, and we're still in the same situation now. The signs at the moment, when you look at the church, when you look at what's going on in the world, the signs are that God does not exist. That is truly horrendous. Really, that is one of the most terrible, one of the most horrendous things is that we're in that time and this is what we've made it. I've been saying recently that this is our offering. We're saying this is what we think what you did and who you are is worth. And the problem is that is very, very true. Look at Cain and Abel. They were bringing an offering to God. Church is about bringing an offering to God. We're coming before God and this is our offering. The worship, what level that is, that's an offering. The ministry, that's an offering. Whether people pay attention to the ministry, that's an offering. Reverence is an offering. Discipline is an offering. All these things. And what is being offered up to God right now about saying this is our level, this is what we think you're worth, it's disgraceful. It really is disgraceful. And it's horrendous to try and pick through that and do a video that is even slightly encouraging when that is the reality that we're facing right now. That is the situation. This is what we are offering. And as I say, I've been talking about this for the last 20 years. I've been doing videos. Go back through my videos. I've been doing videos about it. Yeah. And we're still in the same place. I mean, for me, not going to a church for a while. I mean, I was out of church for a good, gotta be 6-7 years. And then going to the Albion Community Church of God, the Pentecostal one, and seeing what they were offering. It's like, are you kidding me? You're a Pentecostal church. And if people were looking at you and looking at the history of the Pentecostal church, you're not even recognisable as a Pentecostal church. Not in any way, shape or form are you even recognisable as a Pentecostal church, yet alone recognisable as a Church of God. I've been out of church for that long, and church have got worse in that time. Suddenly going downwards. I say, when I look into it, it's not overly surprising. Father has helped me immensely to understand, at least as far as I'm aware, to understand what's wrong, because I've been asking God for 25 years. It's incredibly depressing. Looking at the picture is incredibly depressing. I would love to be part of a church. I would love to be part of a church. Because having that fellowship would be beautiful to have. But as I am, it ain't going to work. We're going to keep bashing heads. It's not going to work. There's no way, shape or form. If they're saying this is good, and I see this is absolutely horrendous, I can't say that's good. And truly, if you don't fit in with the churches, then they don't want you. You're not welcome. And I understand that. I'm not having a go at them. I understand that. That isn't the way it should be. No, not in any way, shape or form. It shouldn't be that way. It is. But to be honest, most people in church wouldn't see that it is that way. But it is, because there's little distinctive things that they do that send that message. That say, we really don't want you here. But until there's a really stronger message. If you really don't take notice and you continue doing the things you're doing, then you get a very, very stronger message. But that's because of the fact, as I said yesterday, I pointed out a lot of stuff. I have. And from their point of view, if you're in a church and you think it's been going really, really well, or that it's going well, and someone comes in and says, well, that's awful, and 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 that's awful, then you're saying, really? I get the point. That people in church say, what about saying hello first? I get that. But the problem is that they think hello means prove yourself, prove that you're worthy of us listening to you. And the problem is, I can never do that. I can't. I know for a fact I can never prove to any church, that I'm worthy of them listening to me. And the reason is because I can't be how they would want someone to be to prove that. I can't be that person. So, yeah. Okay. Look at it from the point of view of talents then. Just for a second, I'm going to do a proper video on this at some point. But I mentioned before about worship. Worship is an obvious area in church where a talent can be seen. Yeah. And it can be compared with the talents of the people in the world. Because, yeah, I've said before about the differences in quality and how they take it so seriously in the world but not really in the church. But how the differences should really be the other way around. It should be that in church the quality is way higher than that of people in the world. Because when people are doing what they're doing, they're playing their instruments, they're singing, they're practicing to do all of that, but they're doing that for money. Should, I'm not saying it is, but should that be leading to a better quality than people doing it for Lord of Lords, King of Kings, and Father God, Creator of everything, as a way of honouring I say I would much rather. Okay, when I've done videos speaking about that church in the centre of, or near the centre, certainly, of the High Street in Chatham, Kent, that did the, I think, Wednesday lunchtime every week, and the worship there was good. It was good. Well, certainly compared to worship in other churches I've been in. I mean, yeah, King's Church, the worship was really good. That was good. That was a charismatic church, and yeah, the worship was very good in that church. Yeah, certainly for a time, because they practiced, they worked at it. Yeah, to them they understood it was a ministry, and they really spent the time. They had drummers, guitarists, they had people playing, I think they had saxophone, they had trumpet. Yeah, and they really worked at it, and it sounded glorious at times. But that's why I said, I did the video the other day talking about, when I was in that area of Chatham, Kent, I was sort of, is this all? Is this the level? Because, I was asking questions to God about what we see in the Bible and what we see in the church, and the massive difference between the two at that point. But let's just say, if the Bible is a 10, King's Church was about a 4, and the other church with regards to worship would have been about a 3.5. Whereas now what we're seeing, and from the majority of churches I've been in, the worship and the level of talent, not just the worship but other things, is about 1.5. And when it should be 10 and it's 1.5, that is really depressing. It just is. We'll put it this way, worship. I mean, worship should, by its name, if you understand the word worship is love. Love is beautiful. So worship should be beautiful. It should be absolutely glorious. Praise is, understand the word praise. What does that mean? It's joyous, it's uplifting. So praise should be incredibly joyous, it should be uplifting. Now, realistically speaking, can you do that with just a guitar and an organ? You can, but those people playing it have got to be blinking good at it. Really good. If those are the only two instruments you're using, Those people have got to be really good to get that atmosphere from those two instruments. You know? Yeah, I feel sorry for the people down at this church. They haven't got a drummer. They've got a drum kit, but no drummer. Yeah, a drummer would lift it so much. And even like Abigail's mum, yeah, the flute. Someone playing an instrument like that would just lift it to a whole new level. Yeah, there are people locally who play instruments. Yeah, put an ad in the paper for people. Yeah, put an ad around Tesco's for musicians needed for a local church. Yeah, because if you're going to bring people to God, then bring them into the church. You know, people who love playing music and who need to practice their music and their skill, bring them in. They can add to what you're doing. Yeah, to me, this is the point about raising the bar. Think of ways of improving it. I mean, to me, part of the difficulty for me with regard to my relationship with God, and certainly my experience with church, is that my relationship with God has always been ask questions. You see a problem? Okay, how can that be fixed? What can be done to fix that? What can be done to make that better? That's always been my experiences. Always been with God. Because I see a problem, I want to understand, how can we fix that? How can we make that situation better? Yeah. The church needs people in church who can do that. Who have that gifting, who have that talent, and who can be used by God to do that. But yeah, that's the point. I'd rather do videos talking about the answers, but the problem is, to talk about the answers, you've got to talk about how things are now, and that is so incredibly depressing. Speaking about that stuff, it brings me down. So the whole point where people in church saying you're just trying to bring people down is bringing me down. So yeah, when I talk about it, it brings me down. When I don't talk about it, it brings me down even more. So yeah. For me, this whole idea of bringing people down, I see the church is bringing people further and further and further down over the years. Because, yeah, the reality is it's got worse. It hasn't actually got better. I mean, one thing I loved about Abigail's dad, he pointed out that in church there's a lot of people who don't believe in God as ministers because ministry is a cushy job. And so many churches, yeah, they're not right with God. You know, churches in America, they're baby churches. The people in the churches are babies. Well, they are over here as well. But it was so beautiful that he pointed that out. Do I think people really took notice of that? No, I don't. I heard it because that's what I've been talking about. Yeah, I would love to have spoken to him more because, yeah, he's someone who I could identify with. You think they'll adopt me? Yeah. I should have said that to Abby. You think your parents would adopt me? Yeah, because I would love to get to know your dad, and I think your mum is an incredible human being. Yeah, I mean her dedication of learning that skill of how to play the flute and play it that well. I mean, yeah, absolute respect. So anyway, there you go. I'm going to do the one on talents at some point. So, but yeah, this one I think has to be got out of the way. So you take care. God bless. I'll speak to you soon. God bless. Bye bye.